This is in no way my attempt to justify my comic book obsession. And this story, I really, really like. Artwork, the storytelling. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Pull List. My name is Travis. Let's talk about the animated adaptation of The Killing Joke. More specifically, that one scene. The graphic novel, The Killing Joke by Alan Moore and Brian Boland, has been one of DC Comics' biggest hits since it came out in 1988. And fans have been waiting for a film adaptation of this story for just as long. Enough so that it became Fathom Events' highest selling event of all time. Now, if you haven't seen the film or even read the graphic novel, I think it goes without saying there will be spoilers in this video, so you should stop watching right now. But definitely go read the graphic novel, especially if you've only seen the film. The story of The Killing Joke attempts to explain the origin of the Joker. Barbara Gordon gets shot and paralyzed, and the Joker tries to use Jim Gordon to show that any sane man is just one bad day away from snapping and becoming just like the Joker. If you saw the Joker parody song that I did, I actually have a line in there that references this story. Link down below. Now, reviews of the film have been pretty divided. I saw it on Monday. I enjoyed the film. I really enjoyed the animation. The music was great. It was wonderful hearing Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill on the big screen as Batman and Joker. It was like an R-rated Batman the Animated Series episode. So nostalgic. But for the film adaptation, they added all of this footage to the beginning of the film that wasn't in the graphic novel. 28 minutes to be exact, featuring Batgirl and this crime boss wannabe. In the Killing Joke graphic novel, Barbara gets shot as soon as she appears in the story. In the Killing Joke movie, there's 28 minutes of story highlighting her and Batman's relationship. It's also a parallel between Batman and the Joker. Bruce talks a lot about the Abyss and how he doesn't want her to have a villain who's obsessed with her like the Joker is with Batman, but he doesn't really say that. It's just very strongly hinted at that, and then he tries to keep her off the case so that way this guy doesn't get obsessed with Barbara and become a Joker type villain for her. But the prologue also included one little teensy weensy scene that a lot of people are talking about. Batman and Batgirl do it on a rooftop. But the scene isn't explicit at all for it being an R-rated movie. I mean, everything that happens off camera. It does this weird sort of pan up to this strangely perched gargoyle. But that scene has a lot of people freaking out because it's changing their dynamic of how they understood Batgirl and Batman. It goes against the nature of their relationship. She's supposed to be like a daughter and he's supposed to be a father. Why did they add the scene? Why does this need to happen? It wasn't even in the original story. Why? And yes, that scene is definitely not in the graphic novel, but I think the 28-minute sort of intro prologue thing was meant to have the audience care more about Barbara than we would have if she had just shown up as Barbara Gordon, gotten shot by the Joker, and then boom, she's paralyzed. The everyday viewer of this movie might not have read the book, so they wanted to give some backstory on Batgirl and Batman and the dynamic of their relationship, rooftops aside. Bruce and Barbara have a mentor-mentee relationship. At this point in the game, Barbara has only been fighting crime for 3 years. Bruce has been doing it for much longer. She clearly still had a lot to learn, and during the entire 28-minute section, he was telling her not to do the thing, but then she would just go and do the thing. Animator Bruce Timm said in a recent interview that they knew that this scene was going to shock some people, but they also wanted to explain that both of the characters are capable of making not very smart decisions, mistakes, if you will, and that Bruce isn't that great of a father figure. Because he doesn't have any children, he doesn't actually know how to be a father figure. He went on to say that because Bruce has no children of his own, Bruce doesn't understand that if you tell a kid not to do a thing, that's only going to make them want to do the thing even more. And then when Barbara messes up, Bruce overreacts, and then Barbara overreacts at his overreaction. My opinion of that rooftop scene is, while I don't hate the fact that it happened, I feel like it was just really forced. Not that one of the characters forced the other character, I just mean like that scene in that movie just felt kind of awkwardly placed. It was like, I'm angry at you too, I have you pinned down on the ground, kissy kissy. I feel like something should have happened in order to terrify her enough of the Abyss that she hangs up the cowl. I don't think an awkward relationship breakup was enough reason for her to quit crime fighting. But what about you? I would love to know your thoughts on the scene. Do you think it's weird? Do you think it's okay? Do you think they have a father-daughter relationship in your mind and that shouldn't have even happened ever? Do you think it was okay because it was mutually consensual and it led to her not wanting to fight crime and just set the whole story in motion? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. I mean, technically it's not the first Bruce and Barbara intimacy that's ever happened. He actually got her pregnant in Batman Beyond 2.0, but that's neither here nor there. My whole thing is that the Joker went through all of this trouble to break Gordon, to make him go crazy, to turn him insane, to snap him, to give him the worst day ever in order to make him like him. And then at the end of the story, Gordon was like, bring him in by the book. But then Batman, as he's going to the Joker, just turns to Gordon and says, oh, by the way, I slept with Barbara. And that is what sends Gordon over the edge. Just, nope, just completely snaps. Becomes the next Batman supervillain, I think. Yeah. That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. That's it for this episode of The Pull List. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for fueling my comic book obsession, and you will see me soon.